Hey everybody, it's Ross here from Tait Real Estate. Today I'm here to talk to you about something really exciting. Sump pumps. Sump pumps are really important in your house. They help get all the water that's around your house out. This time of year it's really important. We've had a couple of inches of rain here in Saskatoon in the last week or so. And so what sump pumps do is they collect water that comes from your weeping tile. Around the exterior of your house is what are called weeping tile. It's a pipe about this big around and it's perforated. It's got lots of little holes in it and it goes all the way around and it's kind of buried in the gravel before they put the backfill around it. And it goes into your house, underneath the basement, and into a sump pit like this. From here, that water is collected and it gets pumped outside of your house. Since 2004 in Saskatoon, every home has had to have, new home has had to have a sump pump, and it has to be pumped outside. My house, which is in an older area, doesn't have a sump pump. It still has weeping tiles, but those go directly into the sewer lines. So you don't need a pump for those. They just naturally gravity drain into your sewer lines. But sewer water has to be treated. And so thousands and thousands of homes having water going into the sewer line costs the city a lot of money. And so they changed the bylaws back in 2004. And now all of that has to get pumped directly outside. And we'll go outside later and sort of show how that part of it works. But at least once a year, you should test your sump pump. Over the winter, they don't work unless you're in a really high water table area. And so we need to check it to make sure that the pump is working. This house in particular is actually in a fairly dry area, and the sump pump doesn't work very often at all. In fact, when I got here, it was dry in the bottom. So there'll be a few screws that you have to take off. The sump pit is not very deep. It's only about 2.5 feet deep, and inside there is a pump, and it's plugged into the wall, and there's some piping that takes it directly outside. And so the pumps that they have inside either are triggered by a pressure trigger or a float, either one. But both of them work on how much volume gets in there. So if you look inside your sump pit and there's a little bit of water, that's fine, because it's not going to pump all of it out. I'm going to put a little bit of water in here, this bucket, and we'll see if it's working. Yeah, I can feel that the pump is vibrating on there, so it's sucking it out. So that means this pump is working. I'm going to go outside and have a look too. There's some gravel out where it is, and so we'll be able to see. It's still pumping right now. It'll suck down a lot more than what you put in, because before it triggers, the water gets up probably about 1/4 of the way up the sump pit before it actually triggers the pump to turn on, and it sucks it out. So we know that this is pumping. Now we're going to go outside and make sure that all the pipes are clear and all of that kind of thing. Now that we know it's working, we're going to put this back on, put the screws back on, and inside here will be done. Okay, we're outside now, and you can see from the color of the gravel that the sump pump has been working. It did pump the water out, and so that's a good thing. This house, by law in Saskatoon, the building codes are that you have to have it flow 3 feet away from your exterior. And here they've got a trough here that sort of gets it away. Some people with a higher water table will even put a pipe that extends out even further, and then they'll bury it into the ground and get it way back away from their yards. Some people, it goes out the front of the house. It depends on the drainage lines in your house. If it goes in the front, hopefully it'll go all the way to the front gutters and then go into the storm drains. The storm drains, the city doesn't have to treat that water. That's where they would prefer it goes, because it doesn't cost as much money. So sump pumps are really important. If they're not working, they can cause real damage in your basement. Sometimes it's just a little bit of moisture buildup in there, but I've seen homes where the sump pump hasn't been working and the basement is completely flooded, all because just a sump pump isn't working. And sometimes it's because the breaker got flipped on it, or sometimes there's a pressure switch inside those pumps, and sometimes that just sort of gets corroded up, and so it wouldn't take much of a fix, and you wouldn't have any problems in your basement, and your basement would be able to be dry. So there you have it, sump pumps. Not exciting, but important.